Have you ever noticed that the moment your life falls apart is also the moment you start to change? Not when you're happy, not when everything feels stable, but when you're standing in the dark, wondering who you are and how you got here. That moment, the one you think will destroy you, is actually the beginning of who you're meant to become. Let me explain. People think transformation starts with motivation, with a clean notebook, a new chapter, or a fresh morning routine. But the truth, real transformation starts when you hit a point where you can't pretend anymore. When the mask slips, when the lies you tell yourself stop working, when life forces you to face your truth. Dark psychology calls this moment the breaking point shift. It's when your mind stops caring about comfort and starts caring about survival, clarity, and change. The darkest moments break your illusions. Everyone carries illusions about who they are, what they want, and what they can handle. You build these illusions to feel safe, to avoid pain, to convince yourself everything is fine. But darkness doesn't let illusions survive. When life gets hard, you stop pretending to be strong. You stop pretending you don't care. You stop pretending the people who hurt you don't matter. Suddenly, you're alone with the truth. And even though it hurts, that truth is where self-transformation begins, because you cannot change anything you refuse to see. Psychologists say humans don't change from inspiration. They change from pain. Pain sharpens your senses. Pain makes you pay attention. Pain wakes you up. When you lose a friend, when a relationship breaks, when life knocks you to your knees, your mind starts asking questions you avoided for years. Why do I tolerate this? Who am I when everything is gone? What do I actually want? These questions don't appear in happy moments. They appear in the dark, the isolation phase. Dark psychology calls the next stage emotional isolation. It's when you feel separated from the world, like no one would understand you even if you tried to explain. It's painful, it's lonely, but it's also necessary, because silence is where your real identity rises. This is the moment you stop being who people told you to be, and start becoming who you really are. In isolation, you cut the noise, you cut the expectations, you cut the pressure to fit in, and without all that weight, you finally hear your own voice again. When you break, you rebuild differently. A dark moment breaks you, but the rebuilding part, that's where transformation happens. When something inside you becomes tired of repeating the same patterns, tired of people treating you the same way, tired of betraying yourself, your brain rewires itself for survival. It says, we don't want this life anymore. We don't want these people anymore. We don't want this version of ourselves anymore. That's when you change your habits, your standards, your boundaries, your priorities, not because it's exciting, but because your mind refuses to go back to the darkness you just came from. You become dangerous in a good way. Here's the part most people never notice. When you rebuild yourself after darkness, you become dangerous, not to others, but to the old version of you. You stop giving unlimited chances. You stop explaining your worth. You stop settling for half love, half effort, and half respect. You start moving differently, thinking differently, speaking differently. People won't understand it. They'll say you've changed, and they're right. You did, because you had to. Transformation isn't beautiful at first. People love to talk about transformation like it's a miracle, but the truth is, it's messy. It starts with crying on the floor, with losing sleep, with feeling confused and broken, with questioning everything. But slowly, you rise, not because someone saved you, not because the pain vanished, but because you learned how strong you actually are. Strength is not built in comfort, it's built in chaos. The moment you decide to choose yourself, there comes a moment, quiet, small, and powerful, where you look at your life and realize, if I don't change now, nothing will ever change. That's the spark. That's the beginning. That's the turning point. You start choosing peace over drama, healing over distraction, boundaries over people pleasing, growth over comfort. This is the real transformation.